What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, Solana's price has had quite the 24 hours, and I want to give you a quick update as to what its price has been doing, what is happening now, and what we can expect next. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. And guys, don't forget, if you do want to start trading a little bit of Bitcoin, Solana, Sweet, and many more today on all the way up to 500x leverage, you can use that BTCC link down below. If you do use my link specifically on this landing page, they're going to give you a 10% bonus on all first-time deposits between $500 and $100,000. This means that if you deposit, say, $4,000, they're going to give you $400 on the spot to start trading with. Whatever profit you make from that $400 is all for you, no strings attached. This is literally an opportunity to make free gains during a bull market on a very good platform. So if you want to go check that out, of course, I will leave the link down there for you, and you can go check it out yourself. So let's start off first and foremost, kind of looking at what has been going on over the last couple weeks, just so you can start to, understand the context of what we're talking about today. So over the last few weeks, of course, we have been tracking Solana's price movement all the way up towards that all-time high. I told you as we were getting closer and closer to that all-time high, like, hey, let's be a little bit careful. We're starting to see some of this bearish divergence forming. We're starting to get these warning signals, right? I pointed out the fact that we had this higher high right here when we had the lower high on the RSI. That's a sign of bearish divergence. So whenever you mix in bearish divergence with the fact that you're at an all-time high, the likelihood is that you are going to get a pullback sometime soon. Now, being aware that a pullback was very possibly on the way, we laid out what was called the DCA zones. These are the three levels in which I do think that Solana's price is going to put up the biggest fight that it possibly can. And I'm actually rather confident that we're going to see these DCA zones hold up and allow Solana's price to continue upwards out of them. Of course, I may be wrong, but this is just my general thesis that we are going to see that, Solana's price try to find the higher low and continue upwards. There are other things that we could factor in as well, such as this, ascending level of support right here. So maybe even consider that there could be even other support-based factors on the way. But as of now, the only focus I really have are on my DCA zones because they are turning out to work out very well. Now, as Solana has been venturing through these DCA zones, we started tracking what we call the, of course, descending channel. This descending channel, or descending wedge, as many people do call it, is this triangular structure right here, which historically is a very bullish structure. Historically speaking, when you put in descending structure of this nature, once you break out towards the top side, you have a good chance at really making a strong move upwards. There are a couple steps that you need to follow. There's a 3-step verification process that needs to be followed, and the sad part is that when Solana's price did break out of this descending wedge, we actually did fail the verification steps, putting it back into this wedge. And so now that we have started to fail here, now the question then becomes, well, what happens next? What happens when something fails like this? When a crypto loses support and fails to maintain and doesn't get the breakout, what happens next? So now that you have a bit of a recap and understanding of what has been going on, let's start talking about what happens next now that this failure has happened and kind of how that can impact Solana's price and what we can expect from Solana's price going forward. Now, I will warn you, some of the things I'm about to say now that we're about to move forward a little bit are going to be a little bit complicated and confusing, especially if you're newer to the space. So all I ask from you is if you are someone who is new to the space and you're just trying to get better at this whole crypto thing, or if you're on the other side of the spectrum and you're already advanced, but you're just trying to add more tools to the toolbox, all that I ask you is to just stick around to the end of the video. At the end of the video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing over in the Discord server, because all of these lessons and classes and coaches and signals and all of these things that we're providing here are generating our community hundreds of percentages in gains every single day. Even on days like yesterday where everything was falling, we had members dropping 200, 100, 200, 300% gains on a consistent basis. So again, if you're someone who wants to just get better at this whole crypto thing, all I ask from you is to stick around at the end of the video. So again, as I mentioned before, now that we have seen Solana's price fail and push towards the downside, what happens next? Well, what you have to think about, okay, is that this is now considered to be what's called a fake out. So fake outs are moments where you think you're breaking out of a structure, but you don't, and you end up back into the structure. Now, interestingly enough, we had a fake out to the upside and a fake out to the downside. We saw the price go through the downside there, through the upside there. Now, oftentimes, these things do cancel each other out. Oftentimes, you will see if you fake out up and you fake out down, it resets it to a point of neutrality. I'm not so willing to say that is for sure the case right now, just because we faked out for days to the upside, whereas we only faked out for like an hour or two to the bottom side. So I'm not going to for sure say that this move right here invalidates the idea that this is a bad fake out, I would just go to say that we are just back in our structure and we need to reassess a little bit. Now, my general thesis is that once a crypto does fake out and re-enter to the bottom side, there's two things that you need to do. First and foremost, you have to reassess your macro structure, meaning that now you have another major point of resistance above you, because you have to think about it. You had this resistance, you broke out, now you've created another point of resistance. So in an instance like this, we're now in much more of a macro moment. This is a much bigger moment. It's not just as simple as this little wedge anymore. Now we got to deal with this bad boy up here also. And so what that looks like for me, quite simply, is reassigning my resistance to now match where we had that fake out to the upside. Now, this was validated by the fact that we did touch this line twice. As you can see here, look, let me go ahead and get that pulled up just like that. As you can see here, as we did see Solana's price get rejected here, we came back up and hit that line again, establishing that this is now true resistance because of our 3 touches to the line. And now, of course, we have the pullback. So what this means for me is now not only was Solana in the descending wedge, now it is created a more macro descending channel. Now, one thing I am interested in while I am doing my charting here, and I'm going to do this live with you, is whether or not this is a parallel channel, because parallel channels are incredibly bullish, especially in a macro sense, and I'd be curious to see, absolutely. So this is a parallel channel, and that's a very interesting thing to note, that Solana's price did now form this parallel channel to the downside. Now, although this of course isn't what we wanted to see, we wanted to see Solana break out right here and then use this breakout to continue upwards, this is actually still extremely bullish in the sense that parallel and descending channels have a high breakout percentage. They have a very high percentage rate of breaking towards the upside, but the good part about it is the likelihood of maintaining a breakout to the upside of a descending channel like this is substantially higher than it is whenever you're breaking out through a wedge. Okay, whenever you're breaking out just through a normal wedge like one of these, your breakout percentage is high. Don't get me wrong, I mean, you have a decent sized chance of maintaining out here, but not a very high chance. And so the fact that we do now have the parallel channel sitting directly above us, that is a very good sign. It just goes to show that there's a strong likelihood that although Solana's price is pulling back, that it is still in a very, very bullish macro structure that could lead towards a beautiful breakout to the upside. So in a moment like this, whenever I see a crypto now entering into more of a macro channel of this nature, my strategy is extremely simple, and I actually want to show you how I do it live here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. Okay, we're actually going to get rid of this as well, and we're just going to leave it just like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that parallel channel tool, and I'm going to draw in that parallel channel that we just tracked, and I'm going to bring it down here, and let's bring it back just a little bit so we can see the full scope of that channel. So we're looking at like this. Okay, 1 second. There we go. Bring that bad boy down. And boom, here we are. Okay, so this is our parallel channel, these blue lines. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit more opaque. There we go. Now I'm going to take another parallel channel and I'm going to draw it through the middle of this parallel channel. That's going to assign me my bottom 50%. Now what I'm going to do is take one more parallel channel and go through the bottom half of that bottom half. And I know it's a little confusing, but it's all good. Now the reason why I did all of this, let me make this green just so you can kind of see how I do it. Now, the reason why I did this is because this is going to assign me my bottom 25% of this parallel channel. Historically speaking, buying in the bottom 25% of these parallel channels will lead to some of the best gains that you can find during a bull market. I mean, just go look at Sweet. You remember when Sweet was in this parallel channel back over here? This one right here, if I remember correctly. Yep, this one. Boom. And we got towards that bottom 25%. And we saw those major moves to the upside. It's no different. It's no different what we're seeing here from Solana. And the good part about it is that where Solana is at the time of recording this video is in the bottom 25% of this channel. And so what this means is that although it doesn't guarantee that Solana's price won't, slowly trickle downwards, which it very well might, it's becoming more and more likely that we're now in a very good buying opportunity. Not only are we getting towards the bottom side of DCA zone 2, and I've told you the lower it goes, the more likely I believe we are to bounce to the upside, but we're also in the bottom side of a major bullish structure. As we're hitting the bottom side of this structure and DCA zone 2, we're also starting to see things like our 4-hour RSI absolutely nosediving into this bullish territory, this oversold territory, because this is usually where we will start to see some returns. This is the lowest that Solana's 4-hour RSI has been since Solana's price was back at $137, guys, on this back test right before we absolutely ripped towards the upside. And so although again none of these things guarantee that Solana's price is about to start going up, it does mean that in the macro sense this is very likely a pretty damn good time to be buying, and that's exactly what I'm personally going to be doing. If we head back actually over to the Insight with Tyler server, you can see Solana. I bought a little bit of Solana yesterday during this dip when we hit this red box, and I'm already in a little bit of profit on that. And so because of that, I will continue to do that. My strategy remains the same. While Solana's price is in the bottom 25% of this parallel channel, I will be doing a little bit of buying. And if its price for some reason does just capitulate and crash outside of this, well, then we'll have to reassess. From that point forward, I do believe we would still recover back into this channel and then get the macro breakout eventually. But time will tell, and we'll go over that if we need to, but I'm not quite sure that we will. And so overall, I just wanted to tell you, look, I know it's scary and that what Solana has done over the last 24 hours hasn't been fun, but we are towards the bottom side of a macro channel, and there's a good chance that we do see this lead to some gains, especially on purchases now. And so because of that, I'm willing to stomach a little bit of pullback if it does mean that, you know, we will get a more pump towards the upside in the future. So I have done a little bit of buying here personally, and I am going to let it ride and just kind of see what happens. So of course, as this does play out and as we do get more movement, I will keep you updated, but I wanted to just let you know what you do in a moment like this and how you can reassign it. You know, of course, it's so easy to get so stressed out whenever you see the market falling, you don't know what's going on. But if you can kind of just sit back and relax a bit and just look at this for what it is, you can start to make the bigger picture, or paint the bigger picture, and recognize that what we're doing right now, although isn't fun, definitely isn't a bad thing, especially for long-term growth. And so because of that, of course, as this does continue, I will continue to update you every day, but do watch the bottom side of this zone very, very closely, because we could very well start to see some good signs, you know, good signs and some good signals and good gains coming out of this at some point pretty soon here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you were somebody who's just simply trying to get better at this whole crypto thing, what I want you to do is check out the Discord server. Now, in order to get access to the Discord server, guys, it is the cost of a Netflix subscription or cheaper, either $17 a month or $5 a month. And when you do sign up over on Patreon, in that link down below, you're going to get access to this Discord server, which comes with Insights with Tyler, where I give my thoughts and ideas and insights about things. Sometimes when I'm buying and selling, changes to my portfolio. Sometimes it's just general advice on things that I'm seeing in the market. You get daily technical analysis on your favorite cryptos every day. You get fundamental analysis on the actual market itself. We have 2 teams of professional traders who are posting their buy and sell signals every single day. And remember, these are pro teams. So all of they're living their livelihood in order for them to eat relies on them making good trades. So you can learn directly from them and see the things that they're doing. We just had Pro Trade Team 2 knock in a 136% gainer this morning, which was sweet. We have this exclusive show, Crypto Vault Live, every single day, Monday through Friday at 12, where Crypto Moses takes you through the market exclusively just for Discord members. We have premium classes on things like the Bollinger Bands, the Fibonacci, bull market investing. We have live workshops with coaches. We actually have one in 5 days, I believe. Yep, 5 days on December 15th, where we're going to be going a little bit deeper into altcoin investing. We have beginners courses on things like technical analysis for beginners, leverage trading for beginners. These are 30-minute long classes, guys, that go through all the basics. It has vocabulary, cheat sheets, 18-page presentation, 20-page presentations, all types of stuff. And then tips with Tyler, which are just these little 2-3 minute long videos on random things, such as how I take profits, setting up my Fibonacci's, and much more. Now, on top of all of that, you have access to the community, where premium members can ask questions directly to myself and some of the other 6 coaches in the server who answer them every single couple hours. And then, of course, all of that has been contributing to building a community that is printing gains, because our whole goal is to cultivate a community of people who are trying to just get better at crypto. So all of these lessons we're teaching are developing into strategies for people, and these strategies are printing them. Hundreds of, this is just yesterday, on a terrible day like yesterday, people were still printing hundreds of percentages of gains. And that just goes to show the resiliency of the server. And so if you want to be somebody who is elevating like all of these people are, we have over 700 members just within the last month. So if you want to become part of that and you want to start printing some gains yourself, again, all that I ask from you is to just go check out that Discord server down below, because it is the cost of a Netflix subscription or cheaper, and I think that's great value. So of course, let me know what you think down below, and if you have been enjoying these videos every single day, 8-9 videos a day, please do let us know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. But I do have a couple more videos planned for today, so make sure that you stay tuned for those, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.